are you this very fine Tuesday? I have a bit of news. Some of it not exceptional, if I'm honest. So, I want to apologise to the people that were running the Christmas party on the Gold Coast that I was meant to turn up to on Sunday. On my way to the Christmas party, I managed to slip, and while reaching out to try and protect myself from falling over, I reached out with the arm that was already buggered and managed to bang it rather solidly against the side of the car, which wasn't clever. It meant that I didn't get to go and spend the day with a whole bunch of great people, and instead got to spend it, well, you know where. Anyway, wasn't feeling terribly flash about it all yesterday, and I'd taken a lot of painkillers, which seemed to have done the trick. Today I've woken up feeling pretty good. It's sore, more sore. Yes, I did go to a doctor. I haven't re-broken anything, which is good, but I seem to have a lot more bruising coming out. Maybe this was bruising that was still coming out from the previous break, but whatever. At any rate, that's why I didn't do a show last night. Consequently, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning looking at all things happening around the world, and boy, are they rolling out the big guns. I'm following a dickhead on the road, folks. I'm driving down a hill with a person in an 80 kilometre an hour zone who's got their foot on the brake and they're doing 40. Can I just say, folks, if you are one of these people, get off the road, hand your license in. You clearly are too anxious, too nervous to be driving on the road. You are a danger to people. I wish I could fling this around and show you the kind of level of dickhead that I have here. Driving a Corolla. And you would think ordinarily quite a squirty little car in these hills, but no, this numpty hasn't the vaguest idea. Anyway, things going on interestingly in the world. Wow! Apparently, if you listen to the Democrats, Matt Gaetz can't become Attorney General under Donald Trump because there is a video of him having sex. I didn't read far enough to see with whom or what sex, or because I believe he's married to a female. He may have been having sex with his wife. He may not have been. He might have been having sex with somebody else, which would be probably a bad thing. I would assume if you're going to be the Attorney General and hoping to get the job. However, we know that the Democrats and the witch hunt that they set out against Gaetz was done when they had control of Congress, and they could essentially ram things through, evidence through that isn't evidence, untried evidence, all that kind of thing. So I wouldn't believe too much that you hear about Matt Gaetz in the coming days and weeks, and I dare say when it comes time for him to sit in front of Congress and all the senators, and they go through that period where they've got to answer questions before they can be affirmed into the job, I dare say there'll be a couple of stupid Democrats who want to try and raise something like this, and we'll see what happens. God, yes. Get off the road if you're nervous, folks. Just go into a paddock and learn how to drive somewhere. Just get off the road because you frustrate other people into doing stupid things, like, reading your number plate out, which I'm not going to do. But I could do a lot worse. But it'll only hurt me, not them. Oh, now we're going through a 60 zone. This car speeds up to 80. Oh, that's a level of dickheadedness I wasn't expecting this early in the morning. How good is that? So we come down the hill in the 80 kilometre hour zone with our foot on the brake doing 40, and then we get to the 60 kilometre km/h zone, and we speed up to 80. Where are the police when you need them? Please. My God. Dickheads everywhere, folks. I keep telling you, dickheads everywhere, and I bet you see them every day as well. Speaking of dickheads, seems like Biden has been something of a dickhead. In Brazil, at the G20 that's being held there at the moment, he came out, made a bit of a speech about how much more money they're going to give Brazil. This would be in the form of a bribe, trying to get them to back out of BRICS, I would say, but that's not going to happen. At any rate, on top of the hundreds of millions of dollars they've already given them, they're going to give them another $50 million plus another $5 million on top of the $50 million they gave them already, so that some reforestation can occur in the Amazon. I don't have a lot of jungle experience, I'll admit. Not much at all. But I know people who've spent a lot of time in jungles. And for the most part, if you leave it alone, it'll go back to jungle very, very quickly. Now, I don't know, that may not be the case in the Amazon, but I'd be surprised. Why does it require hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars from the Americans this time round to try and stop that? Well, I think it's more to do with BRICS. For me, the biggest takeaway was that he refused, Biden that is, he refused at this press conference to take any questions on his decision to allow Zelensky and his crazy mob of Ukrainian dictators to fire long-range, American-supplied long-range weapons into Russia. Now, these are an army missile that is good for about about 300 kilometers. And that would reach pretty deeply into Mother Russia, and obviously Vladimir Putin is very unhappy about this. He and others have made statements which are quite pointed, claiming that if these rockets are to fire, it won't be a Ukrainian crew that fires them. They don't know how. So it will be with NATO support, and being an American weapon system, it will be Americans who fire it. That will bring them into what would ostensibly be World War III. Is Biden that mad? Well, it appears Donald Trump is very upset about all of this. He doesn't want to be left at the start of World War III just as he takes office, and quite rightly so. Why would you want? There is moves afoot, potentially, to... Well, I don't know exactly what they can do politically. I don't know that there is a great deal they can do politically, except for the fact that the US government at the moment is in caretaker mode. Now, whether or not decisions like that can be taken in caretaker mode, I don't know, but I'm sure if it was a government decision, possibly not, but this came direct from Biden. This is a presidential decision, and it's a whole different ballgame. So, we were back briefly. Now we're back, well, hopefully for a little longer period. So we'll try for a third time. If these American-supplied offensive missiles are launched out of Ukraine and into Russia, and they hit something significant, I'm not even sure even if they landed in a cow paddock, it would make it any less significant. But it's going to take a lot of restraint from Moscow not to decimate Kyiv. And this, of course, would probably bring NATO out all guns blazing. The problem that NATO have is that America is the biggest provider of weaponry and particularly money. And at the moment, America aren't providing any of either. So any weapon systems that they do have in country at the moment, and not saying they don't have any, they probably do, they won't have many. And what they do have is a resupply problem. So I would be surprised that much damage at all will be done if they are actually fired. And if they are fired, take some heart in the knowledge that there are very few of those weapon systems on the ground in Ukraine. bit like what they've got in Israel to help protect them from the Iranian threat of ballistic missiles. They've got some THAAD missile systems in there. Well, they may well have, and they keep talking this THAAD system up as capable of destroying a missile, a ballistic missile, at pretty much any point in its trajectory. Previously, you always wanted to try and shoot one of those rockets while it was going up or just reaching apogee, because once it turned around and started coming back down again, it was coming a damn sight quicker, and the warheads tend to spread out. So these THAAD systems are capable of shooting both going up and coming down. The problem is they only have 16 missiles in the country. 2 systems, 8 apiece. Now, will they get resupplied? Maybe not. But you can be pretty much guaranteed that Iran will fire a hell of a lot more than 16 missiles at Israel if and when that day comes. The conundrum for me is that Donald Trump actually supports Israel's war, and I can't see him pulling Benjamin Netanyahu back from a fight with Iran. The only thing that I can see that will stop that is a faith-saving measure for Israel. The Zionists got their ass kicked when they tried to attack Iran. The count that I have is that they lost over 20 F-35 fighters. They lost over 30 F-16 fighters. They lost a lot of aircraft in that most recent attack on Iran. Now, it must be slightly worrying to the Americans that their latest and greatest supposedly invisible aircraft, the F-35, had no problem being found by Russian-inspired radar installations and targeting radars, and better still, surface-to-air missiles that appears to have done some pretty significant damage to the Israeli Air Force. Now, that will give everybody great pause for thought, because this is the first time that, if you like, tier 1 or peer group weaponry has been used in a theatre of war, actually used against each other. So by that I mean a peer weapon system from America is going up against a peer weapon system from Russia. It just happens to be doing that inside Iran. Now, Iran use a lot of Russian weapon systems, a lot of Russian radar systems, but they are also extremely clever people and wonderful people. I don't think I've met an Iranian I don't like. Wonderful people, very intelligent people, very industrious people, and they've built their own SAM weapon systems, surface-to-air missile systems, that are certainly based on Russian technology, but are very, very, very much Iranian and very, very good. So much so that they shot down a huge amount of aircraft, and most of the weapons that were fired at Iran's supposedly hidden missile bases. Well, we know of 6 missile strikes, and they were mainly in and around Tehran, the capital. And they would have us believe that a big building with a big blue roof on it was a missile production factory. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't a storage facility for it either, because it didn't blow up like that. So watch this space. There's going to be more tensions there. And for me, the whole Donald Trump supporting of Israel, and particularly the Zionist side of Israel, is concerning. Don't know where that's going to go. Be interesting to see where it's going to go. J.D. Vance has been hitting the road promoting, well, all things Trump-Vance, I suppose, for 2025, and has been accepted pretty willingly by the American market and, if I must say, the Australian market. He talks a lot of sense. He seems to be a straight shooter like Trump, if not possibly a bit more serious about the straight I get the feeling that if you mess with J.D. Vance, he's going to mess with you back again, just like Donald John Trump. So America might be onto something here. And really the big news about him is he is appealing to the younger voters in America. They like him, and they, from what he is saying and where he's appearing, they are seeing a way forward with him for young people in America, because he's a much younger man than Donald Trump and not that much older, I guess, than them. They are looking for somebody with a bit of experience, and Vance seems to be that man and exciting that younger vote. And it was so good to see such a large portion of the younger vote turn out to vote for Donald Trump in the election recently. There were a lot of big name people walking around handing out water to those that were standing in the lines to vote, because there was a go slow on getting people through the voting process too, remember. There were a couple of movie stars I saw out there handing them out. You have to wonder whether or not they're on the good or the bad side. The guy who played Ant-Man, Paul somebody, he was out handing out water and encouragement, and it was through his tweets that a university town really got behind Donald Trump as well. And in part he was there at that university handing out, I think, drinks and how to vote cards. So keep an eye on the good stories, the good celebrity stories that are coming out at the moment versus the ones about P. Diddy and associates. There is a lot more coming out about P. Diddy. I would expect a lot more this week. There has been a story, I think, overnight, or did I read it yesterday? A story overnight, I want to say, where P. Diddy has been charged with some jailhouse crimes. That is, using somebody else's phone, trying to get in touch with witnesses and maybe coerce them, or get in touch with somebody who's on his banned phone list to get them to go and coerce them. He's been caught at any rate, and all phone privileges, I dare say, have been suspended. The interesting thing for me about all of this is that he's still in jail. That's probably the first thing. And the second thing is that he's still alive. And I think that goes to show just how little control the deep state have anymore. So this P. Diddy thing is going to drag out, right? We're going to get little bits and pieces of news every day. Like, there is a video going around now apparently showing Michael and Barry Obama at one of these Diddy white freakout parties where they are raping young boys. There is a video purportedly showing J-Lo and if you like, a backing singer / dancer doing all sorts of weird shit. J-Lo in particular seems to be doing some truly disgusting and despicable things to an 11-year-old girl. Did you know that J-Lo many years ago was found with a gun in her pocketbook, as they call it? That gun had been used in a murder, and before anything could be said or done with her, she was swept out of the country, and this all just sort of went away, and she came back a few years later as a rock star. There's also a very interesting analysis of her marriage to Ben Affleck, the first time and the second time. The second time being probably for me the more interesting, because it appears that she chased him down, and with the hope that when all these Diddy secrets came out, he would be able to shield her from it. But when he found out what was going to come out, he walked away from it. No wonder the man drinks. No wonder. So, a couple of interesting things to watch there. There is going to be more talk of video, But I'm sick and tired of the talk. We want to see the video. Well, I don't want to see it either exactly, but we do want confirmation that these videos exist. It would be good to see Barack and Michael Obama confessing to their crimes against humanity, and particularly against children. If we all join hands, close our eyes, and ask the good Lord for that to happen, it will happen. Just believe it. That's all you got to do. Just believe it. I hope where you are today, the weather is a little bit better than where I am today, and it's pretty overcast. I got myself pretty excited because I packed a bag and was heading off to Victoria, except I'm a week early. Dick. It's what happens when you break your wrist and you take, prescription drugs. You get a little bit discombobulated. So, discombobulation over. I'm now aware of what day of the week and month it is. I won't be trying to get to Victoria this week. But I'm heading down next week and looking forward to seeing everybody at the camp out or just out of Echuca. In fact, if you want to come and be part of that big My Place camp out, then go to myplaceaustralia.org and click on the camp out link. You'll get all the details there. There will be one site for a motorhome available because I'm not bringing mine. It's already paid for, so doesn't mean they're not going to charge you again for it. But if you'd like to come, we'd love to see you. I believe there are still some caravan, some a limited number of powered sites, some non-powered sites, and some true tenting sites are still available. So if you want to come along and join us, it's happening the 29th, 30th, and 1st of December. 29th, 30th of November, obviously. That's not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then 1 week later, well, I jump ahead. On the 3rd of December, we're going to be in Pinaroo. When I say we, I mean Vince and I. We'll do the show from the Pinaroo Hotel and have a little bit of a chat with a couple of the locals. And, in fact, we'll meet Pete from Pinaroo, I hope, that night. He might come on for a bit of a chat and show us some of his coins. Maybe that's not a bright idea. He'll be telling everybody what he's got. But anyway, we'll figure it out. There are a couple of interesting things around Pinaroo that I hope to be able to go and check out, including a bloke who apparently teaches people how to fly gyrocopters. But, that's just a rumour I'm hearing. Also, we'll be heading down to Mount Gambier after that for the 6th and 7th of December. The 6th is an evening, bit of an open mic night. There will be a representative from Ainsley Bullion. We'll be there to have a bit of a chat about gold and silver and platinum, for that matter, precious metals in general, and how it can really benefit you when it comes to protecting your wealth from the banks and growing your wealth. And particularly if you've got money still in a big super, then you want to hear that talk. Cass will be around on the Saturday for a chat about self-managed super funds as well. So that'll happen around the Blue Lake, which is just a beautiful, beautiful place in Mount Gambier. I think it's got something to do with the limestone that's in it, known as the Limestone Coast, that part of South Australia. So the water is truly blue, unbelievably blue, and beautiful, beautiful little, from what I remember anyway, it's been many years since I've been there, but a lovely little, not camping area as such, but playground and barbecue areas, all that sort of stuff. That's where we're going to be at the Blue Lake on December the 7th. And then there's a big market day happening in Mount Gambier on the 8th. So we're planning on popping along to that maybe on our way out. I'll be heading back to Queensland then and having Christmas with my mum. And then, all things being willing in a beautiful world, that will be removed. And I'll be able to drive. And if that's the case, provided we've got enough funds in the bank to put some fuel in the bus, we're going to hit the road, Jack. Come see you. It's been too long in one place, so we're going to change that. Thank you to everybody who's still sending messages of support about Josie the Joey. I appreciate that. And to David Hurley, who's still sending abuse. Muppets, trolls, and dickheads. he qualifies on all three. I wonder if he drives. See ya.